Today on Heroes of the Deep.
This is an old working ship, you all know that. Wires can suddenly start moving without warning and an arm can quickly be chopped off. Everyone must secure themselves.
Diver ready.
So bewältigend gut ist die Sicht gar nicht. Ja, aber ich werde hier tatsächlich alle drei rausnehmen. Das ist sonst echt zu eng hier.
Stop, Peter, stop!
Rostock, the Hanseatic and university city with the special maritime flair. The home of the Baltic Sea divers. And today also their place of operation. In the city harbour, the former fishing cutter Wernigerode sank a good 6 weeks ago for reasons that are still unclear. Its salvage is more than just challenging. Unfortunately, the weather this morning is also classic Nordic at first.
Hello, Heinzie. Hello, Marcel. Can't it be dry today? Shit.
We meet outside on the deck at 7, in the barbecue corner.
The essential morning team meeting is larger than usual. The salvage operation requires the combined expertise of 15 specialists, divers, technicians and engineers. The operation is led by the technical chief of the Baltic divers himself.
Good morning, everyone. Concerning our recovery of cutter Wernigerode, I have brought the plan of the wreck. The cutter is on the starboard side, about 40 degrees. We will lift it as it is. We will lift it slowly and see how it behaves above water. Whether it's stable enough that we can get it high enough to use the pumps.
Project engineer Frederik additionally points out the pitfalls of the floating crane.
This is an old working ship, you all know that. Wires can suddenly start moving without warning. There have already been serious accidents at work. So don't lean on wires, watch out where you step or you'll quickly lose an arm. It's a bit slippery. There's a lot of stuff lying around. We've already had work accidents in the excavator mats because someone stepped into a hole, so just be a bit careful.
I wish everyone a lot of fun and good luck.
The Baltic lift was built in 1974 and has a lot to offer.
It can lift loads of up to 200 tons and is a self-propelled floating crane, which is a huge advantage. A floating crane has the task of being able to lift large loads and lay them out on the water where no mobile crane or land-based crane can reach.
However, it's not the fastest. It took the Baltic lift a good hour to reach Rostock's city harbour. Here, the Baltic divers work under the eyes of the police, surveyors and a few onlookers. In the meantime, at least the rain has disappeared.
The cutter is in an unsecured condition. You don't know exactly what it looks like, and it's an old ship. It's badly weighted, it's damaged, it's lying on the bottom. Of course it can break or parts can fall off.
The utmost caution is therefore called for. First of all, the cross beams, that is, the spacers, have to be connected to the large recovery crane. And it only listens to one man, crane operator Peter.
Peter, can you take it a little higher? A little higher? Yep, he's lifting. No, I thought you lift and you shackle.
I can't see that.
Get some pliers for the wire.
Ultimately, the most important tools are 2 recovery harnesses, each weighing 160 kilograms.
One of these belts can lift a load of about 50 tons. So if we go through the ship with these 2 belts, we can lift about 100 tons. Now that it gets easier, Frederik's coming. What have you got? We have a weight specification of 70 tons, but that can quickly become 80 or 90 tons. How long are they, 25?
The recovery belts are ready for use, but still have to be pulled underneath the wreckage. And he takes care of that. For Eric, this wreck salvage is a first. He is aware that he will not see much of it.
Most of the time we see nothing or very little. At the latest, when we start working, we see nothing anymore. Then there is only feeling and imagining. You have to get used to it.
And have confidence in his colleagues. Dive leader Jens always keeps an eye on Eric's well-being.
We prepare that the diver gets into the water. We first attach a ladder, then the diver will go in and take the lines that have already been flushed through below. And then that will be connected with the large belts. And that's the rough plan for now. And then the large, long belts that are lying here on deck will be hoisted underneath the ship. Visibility will be zero, probably pitch black.
To prevent Eric from injuring himself on the wreckage as he blindly moves forward, he wears sturdy gloves.
With this it's fine, I'll manage, but seriously, I'm not supposed to be knitting down there, so I don't have to be able to feel such filigree.
He stays cool, but is also prepared for all eventualities.
A knife. Especially in such a case, of course, the probability that you get stuck somewhere is given. Then you have to cut yourself free. I don't cut through wire with it, but at least I can cut ropes.
Even with the hose line, his air and radio connection to the Baltic lift, Eric could get caught on the wreck. Dangerous, since he has only limited mobility with his diving equipment, which weighs a good 40 kilos. All the more important is the detailed pre-check.
The view's not great, eh?
How convenient. Eric has to position the belts correctly on the wreck, precisely in the Harbour basin sludge, and he does so by feel. On the premises of the Baltic Sea divers, a work mission with the truck is prepared. The crew consists of 3 experienced divers and the new trainee, Justus. The distribution of tasks shows how much the watermen love their job.
He's diving. Look, you'll have to work it out between yourselves, because I said Justus can go in the water.
I'm the trainee. I haven't been diving in a long time.
Me neither.
I want to dive again as well. Then we can go, can't we?
So the only thing that is clear at first is that everyone actually wants to dive. But first to the site of the operation. On the banks of the lower Warnow River, the leaking freshwater pipe of a sewage treatment plant is to be repaired. But bank is a flexible term here.
What?
You see the green boy and the little pale white boy next to it? That's where we have to go.
The hose isn't that long.
You're the head of operations. You call him.
Stefan? Well, let's see if he answers.
Stefan is the project manager for the job.
Good morning, Stefan. You forgot to tell us something. It's in the middle of the fairway, directly in the fairways in the Warnow. Wait, I'll turn up the volume and everyone will hear. Sorry, it is next to the fairway, but it's still about 400 meters away from land.
Das geht nicht.
Ach, tatsächlich.
Oh, really?
Ja, 100 Meter schaffen wir mit der Leine, maximal.
Stefan möchte mal... Moin, Stefan. Christian.
Hello, Stefan, it's Christian.
Moin, Fischi, grüß dich.
Du ruf
Call Torsten and tell him. I would have thought that he would tell you that it's 400 meters from the land.
Dass er dir jetzt Bescheid sagt, dass das 400 Meter weg ist vom Land. Aber hat er ja nicht gemacht.
Nee, hat er nicht. Das können wir nicht so.
Ja, ruf ihn mal
Yeah,
an.
call him and find a solution with Torsten.
Immer nochmal Tobias, bitte, Fischi.
Ja, ich bin da.
Der ist da.
Yes, I'm here.
Ja.
Oh, difficult to say.
Schwer zu sagen. Wie weit ist es
How far do you think?
Weg? Wisst ihr das?
Wir waren jetzt draußen
30 meters away from the fairway?
40 Meter vielleicht.
30 Meter vom Fahrwasser entfernt.
Sometimes diving is a story full of misunderstandings.
Du mal fragen. Jo.
Yeah, see you later. Bye.
Ciao. Man sieht dann diese...
You can see this green fairway buoy back there. That's just 400 meters away. And a 100-meter diving hose won't get us 400 meter far, so that's not
400 Meter
on.
weit. 400 Meter weit, das fällt aus.
A diver who doesn't dive is no good, but even experienced frogmen can't jump that far into the water, so they have to wait for a boat.
Oh, Yvonne, my wife.
Meine Frau. Die Olsenbande.
Hello, sweetheart. Your sandwich? It's still here.
Ach, schön mit Vogelgezwitscher.
Beautiful how the birds are chirping here. Pure nature.
Guten Morgen, Stefan.
Good morning, Stefan. Do you already have a new plan for us?
Gut. Ja,
Good. Then we'll call it a day here and prepare everything for the overseas port.
Überseehafen, alles.
Fine. See you later. Bye.
Bis später. Tschüss.
Nothing cleared at the sewage treatment plant, but the control centre already has the next job up its sleeve for the crew. Let's see if they can reach it with the truck. Back in Rostock City Harbour. In a moment, diver Eric is to dive under the sunken cutter to pull the salvage belts through. For Chief Jens Papp, this is a clear-cut matter, at least on paper.
Here's a channel where the diver can get down.
Dass der Taucher hier runter kann, ja?
Ich stehe jetzt so halb in diesem Loch drin, was wir hier gespült haben.
Der geht jetzt
He now goes to this position
Position.
and now goes into the ditch.
Geht jetzt in die
Are you still aft?
Ich bin noch Achtern, ja. Achtern, Backbord, an der Vorleine, wo der Gittermastkran jetzt den Gurt durchziehen wird.
Dass der Taucher dann hier ist.
Once the diver is here, then we'll move on.
Jetzt steht kurz davor.
Ich stehe soweit frei, kann eigentlich nichts passieren. Ich kann auch jederzeit nach hinten weg.
The feeling of being under the cutter, and you know the ship is now above you, 70 tons, and I have only a narrow passage where I just fit through as a diver kneeling. To get that into your head, to realize where you are in absolute darkness without seeing anything, you have to be in control of yourself. You must remain calm.
So, geht los, Fingerchen raus.
Eric guides the harnesses along the leader ropes. They must not wrinkle under any circumstances.
Der achterliche Gurt auf der Steuerbordseite. Liegt nicht 100% glatt auf, aber relativ gut. Ich stehe jetzt auf dem Schanzkleid. Und hier ist er eingedreht. Das könnte man aber noch mal gerader legen, wenn man wollte.
Der Gurt hat sich ein bisschen umgeklappt.
All stop. Everything stopped for now.
So, jetzt ist alles gestoppt.
I think Frank comes down with this crane to shorten that.
Kran runter, das aufzukürzen.
Ja,
Crane down.
runter.
Unfolding the heavy harnesses takes valuable time, but is essential for a safe recovery. Everyone on board literally relies blindly on diver Eric.
Dann geh bitte nochmal hoch, kontrollieren, ob die Leine in der Nähe dieser Aufbauten ist, Vorkante der Aufbauten.
Auf der Backbordseite bleiben.
On the port side, you mean? Feels all smooth, lies well.
Fühlt sich alles glatt an, liegt gut.
Okay, let's go. We've now successfully installed both harnesses. The diver's now doing a final check. Then the diver comes out and we'll lift it up.
Eric's dive lasted 1 hour and 5 minutes. For him, it was a career highlight, despite the cramped space and catastrophic visibility.
I thought it was cool, really good. For myself, it was a confirmation that I'm also able to mentally manage to process without getting panic. I didn't expect that, but you never know. It can happen. Never say never. But everything went well. I thought it was really cool.
Except for one small thing. Boy, you stink. Enough joking. Now things are getting serious. No one can say whether the freshly harnessed cutter is stable enough to be salvaged in one piece. The chief is cautiously optimistic.
We now have about 4 or 5 tons on the hook, which means the straps are stiff, resting against the hull. Everything's firmly connected. Everything fits. Everything's great.
He is about to test just how great it is. Peter Küpper. He steers the big A-frame of the Baltic lift and is supposed to lift the cutter out of the water with a lot of feeling.
Always keep an eye on the tonnage, so we don't pull with too much. We can pull more than 200 tons, but we don't really want to pull more than 70, as it would tear the ship apart. So you have to be careful. Pull up slowly and with feeling.
Wait for now.
The lifting of the Wernigerode begins cautiously, and indeed, the first superstructures of the cutter come to light again. Balancing is a matter for the boss.
A little higher aft. Still a little. Now slowly. The water must drain off.
There are 60 tons inside.
Peter, up again a bit.
The higher the cutter is lifted, the greater the load on the belts, crane and the wreck itself, which weighs several tons. One can see and hear that. The other crew of the Baltic divers has reached its new destination. In the overseas port of Rostock, work has been going on underwater for 3 days, and today welding has to be done, but the planning luck does not remain favourable to the divers.
Guys, we didn't bring a pressure washer, right?
That wouldn't be too bad, but we had it yesterday. Where is it?
We took it out again at Eric's request because he was pushing for time again. It's not so bad. It's all clean. With a wire brush, everything will be fine.
We'll manage that way too. Jan will go in today and finish welding the rest, and we'll do the crew up here.
There was a lock blast at the harbour sheet pile wall that needs to be repaired.
The sheet piles are wedged into each other, and block blasting is nothing else than them coming apart at that position. And that's closed again now.
So you're going to change your clothes, right?
I'll do that now.
Get naked.
Trainee Justus would love to dive himself, but he understands why he can't.
That's welding, and I haven't done that yet. I've only been here for a short time. It has to hold well. If I then do something and it sucks, there'll be a big problem and it will be expensive. Before this, I worked as a research diver for 2 years in another company. We did scientific services. I did fish aquaculture. And now I wanted to develop professionally, so I started training as a professional diver. So far, I think the most challenging thing is the physical part, that you get a helmet on your head and you really get into scary situations when you go under big ships.
Today, the Baltic divers only see large ships from shore. André puts the finishing touches to the welding electrodes and braids off their paint layer so that they ignite perfectly right away. Jan, meanwhile, is getting dressed. You'd have to be a diver.
Do you want to have it hooked in?
That's what I said.
Don't you want to close it first?
Nope.
Like this?
No.
Justus can also learn something from the safety check.
So.
Du, kriegst.
Are you a left bearer or a right bearer?
Left and right.
Justus means the knife, of course.
Helmet coming.
Hello, Toby.
Peekaboo.
Yes, loud and clear.
Here too. We installed his welding window for this job, which he needs to see the weld metal better. Of course, it's extremely bright, so you can't look in and you can't see what's happening during welding. Helmet can close?
Yes, helmet can close.
Okay, helmet is locked on 2 pins. Inflator is connected and working. 200 bar.
Flasche ist offen. Halben zurück. Schlauchenleine hinten links eingehängt und gesichert. Harness ist an 1, 2, 3, 4 Punkten geschlossen.
He has the knife. Diver is ready.
To dive. Although only to a maximum of 4 meters. Finding the right sheet pile in the murky harbour basin is not a clear-cut matter with the welding site.
You can see that pretty quickly. There's also damage. Plates are already pre-welded.
Then this is probably it.
Right. It has to be like this. It's just supposed to be a kind of hold so that it doesn't fold out any further. Yes, exactly.
The holes in the sheet pile show how aggressively the salt water of the Baltic Sea works. And only 3 days after the last operation, the already processed areas have already started to rust again.
He gets the welding gun next. The underwater welding electrode is clamped and he can then weld with it.
Und damit kann dann schweißen.
Jan also gets a magnet from Justus to fix himself to the sheet pile wall.
You can also lower the tray.
Our Yanni is now just under 1 meter below the waterline, and he will surely say in the next 10 seconds that the welding machine can be switched on.
Jan welds on the sheet metal as a connecting link between the sheet piles. What already requires a high level of concentration above water is doubly difficult underwater.
Of course, the welding behavior is different than above water, as you have this permanent cooling. Normally, an underwater weld would be much too brittle due to this rapid cooling. But to compensate for this, we weld using the so-called 3-bead technique. You weld the first layer as you would on land, the so-called root, and then you put 2 more cover layers over it, on the left and the right.
Jan needs a good 20 minutes for each of the 6 connecting plates. Good things take time. New operations manager Toby seems satisfied.
That looks good. We finish here at 12 and then we have a break until 6 p.m. and then the next job starts.
6-hour lunch break? You'd really have to be a diver. In Rostock, the wreck salvage operation is entering the decisive phase. Everyone watches very closely how the cutter behaves after the mast is broken.
Still a good 1,50 meters. Peter, a little higher. We want to leave it like that now and go over with the man basket. The first hurdle is passed. You can now use the salvage pumping. We'll send a man over and then pump it empty.
Full to the brim with water, the cutter would be too heavy and could burst. The same applies here as with muscle building. Pumping helps.
One pump can suck about 70 cubic meters of water. That's high-performance pumps. Of course, there are even bigger ones, but these ones are still just about manageable.
With special suits, technicians Christian and Ricardo are transported in the man basket onto the wreck. Despite the cutter's inclined position, they now have to try to position the pumps so that they can suck out enough water.
Everyone has to make sure they secure themselves and watch out where they go. And that's part of it.
Suction a la Baltic Sea diver. The water flows out of all pumps and provides weight relief for the cutter.
We want to achieve that the cutter straightens up when we haul it away, so that we can put it straight down to set it up on land. At the moment, it doesn't do this voluntarily, so we want to support it with the second crane. Want to lower it away, want to raise it up, and then we hope that it will lay straight down. Hold on tight.
The large A-frame from which the wreck hangs will be supported by the cable crane from now on. The forces acting on the cutter from different directions are intended to force it to right itself and thus to float.
Further down, Peter. Now you have to try it, Frank. It groans and cracks. Stop, stop, stop. We can leave it like this. Now it's worked. We've got it upright. Now we'll check again for residual water, then we'll lift it out completely and then we'll set off.
The salvage of the Wernigerode has already been underway for 7 hours. With great care, the cutter is now being lifted just under a metre above the water surface.
Okay, the cutter is ready to go. It is 2:35 p.m. Let's go. Then shipping. It's the last voyage.
The further fate of the ill-fated ship is not the responsibility of the Baltic divers. All they have to do is bring the wreck to its safe final position so that the police and insurance experts can determine how it sank. Package delivered, job done.
I'm proud of the team. Everyone did their job well and thought it through. The bottom line is that we can be very satisfied.
Kann man sehr, sehr zufrieden sein.
Morning, Andre.
After welding the sheet pile wall, the Baltic divers had a few hours off before heading into the night shift. Diver Eric stocked up on fresh air and sun.
I was still on the beach in the afternoon today. We had some free time. Therefore, the summer outfit. My socks, flying pink pigs.
Swimming porpoises would be more appropriate, Eric. Anyway, now quickly out of the colourful clothes. The others are already waiting.
We still have an operation in Warnemünde tonight at the ferry. It can only take place after 7 p.m. as the ferries run all day. Only in the evening do they dock at the pier, and only then can we do the special job.
The truck is already loaded, and despite the late hour, the divers are lively.
An awesome song for this.
In Warnemünde, divers and order arrive at the same time. The ferry runs daily every 10 to 20 minutes between the Rostock district of Hohe Düne and the seaside resort of Warnemünde.
Hello.
Hallo.
Oha.
The new diving trainee, Justus, has spent his working break in Warnemünde and meets his colleagues here. Eric has been in training for a year longer and obviously enjoys his head start in experience very much.
Lift it nicely out of your legs. You can do it.
It's wonderful to delegate the uncomfortable work to the even smaller pen.
Let's go now.
Maybe just put it here at the bollard, then it can't roll away.
Eric then prefers to take over himself again. Classic site hierarchy.
Justus, could you throw out the 2 wooden wedges?
Tobias wants to know from engineer Patrick what's wrong with his ferry.
You have a rattling noise?
Klapperndes Geräusch.
Exactly. Since March we've had a loose anode. That's what we assume. Or something at the basket is loose. We already had a diver inside who is of the opinion that it is an anode. We hoped that it would fall off at some point, but it hasn't. The noise has become worse now, and that's why you're here.
Sounds logical, but it's not yet for landlubbers. The rear drive of the ferry consists of high-quality ship propellers. To prevent the aggressive salt water from attacking them, anodes made of zinc are attached to the hull, which are eaten away instead. Therefore, sacrificial anodes. It really works. Since the entire drive is protected by a steel basket, the diver has to cut his way to work.
We'll have a look. We don't know what the material thickness is, whether we flex or burn. The diver will check on site and decide what's faster and easier.
I'll change, then I'll fix it. I'll see where to burn, then we can snap it off again. You'll see that on the video too.
Again, a diver with experience is needed. Justus takes it in his stride.
I think all divers would love to do this. The diver's always the lucky one.
Tobias, you've already switched it on, so take a look at the camera image to see if it can stay like this. Hold your finger down from above, vertically. Yes, it looks very good. We'll leave it like that.
The diving helmet is checked. The individual head padding is still missing.
This is special in that it's ancient. It's from 1992 and still in great shape. Sewn 1,000 times with a zipper. But it's just a great fabric. I don't like the new ones. I always have a new one, but I don't use it. Not as long as this works. Mum has already embroidered the initials. Maybe it's a lucky charm.
With almost 30 years of diving experience, Andre is quite a bit ahead of the two diving trainees. Speaking of trainees, Justus, it's not called the Baltic Sea Anglers.
Because of the pants? That's just against the mosquitoes. It's salt shut. And the fancy shoulder pads here. When he was young, it was fashionable.
Thank you. Do I have a bloodstain now?
Precisely because he has so much experience, Andre takes every job seriously. The dive doesn't go particularly deep, but the welding under the ship can be treacherous.
What can also be dangerous is when the oxygen accumulates behind materials. Then an explosive mixture is formed from it that may well lead to small explosions. Many others got severe injuries on their hands. There's a loud bang, you get scared, and the hand also really hurts. That can be highly explosive and dangerous. That's the only thing you have to worry about. Where does the oxygen go?
Careful, helmet is coming, main air is on. Diver is ready to
dive. Over the ladder it goes, down into the harbour basin. Only the fins are still missing Andre.
No, not the carabiner. Otherwise you throw it on his head.
Yes, of course, but he has a helmet on. What should happen?
That's true.
What did I do now?
What are you doing?
That's because we're filming. I'm so excited.
A tough professional diver. In training. Meanwhile, the concentrated underwater experience just gets going.
I'll go see if I can find the anode. I can't see it from up there.
All good?
I'm just trying to see where to go.
You want more light?
Nope. You got both the lights on?
Yeah, I've got them both on 50%.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to take all three of those out. It's really cramped in here otherwise.
That's fine.
Only behind the struts can Andre reach the anode.
He's kind of right here at the vertical now, and then he wants to burn out the 3 struts.
And then I need the little cinder hammer.
You can also get a cinder hammer, mass and small cinder hammer.
The ground cable is used to make the electrical connection necessary for welding.
The view is not that overwhelmingly good.
It doesn't really matter where you tap the paint off for the mass. For the mass you need a metallic connection, and with paint it doesn't work. That's why he's now tapping off the paint.
So Andre makes the substrate conductive.
How many electrodes should we give you later? 5?
Yep.
And how many amps do you want to have? We welded today with 164 or 154, which was preset.
You can keep that. Switch on the machine.
Yeah, the welding machine can be switched on.
The oxygen, the current and the combustible electrodes made of magnesium produce a burning flame with a temperature of around 1,400 degrees. Andre can cut off about one steel strut with each electrode. He's doing all right.
The top two have been removed. I'm now on the last one, the third one. I have to cut once more.
Habe ich jetzt noch einen Brennschnitt?
Please turn off the welding machine.
The welding machine is turned off.
The path to the basket is now clear, but it's still darn close.
According to the technical drawing, 1,50 meters. Bottom 1,50 meters, it's a bit trapezoidal, further up probably 2,50 meters.
In summary, water ballet is cancelled today.
Either way, it's tight between the wings.
The first anode apparently made a bigger sacrifice.
In the middle, there's no anode at all.
Now there was a big O here.
There's only one stud bolt with a nut, one of those self-locking nuts. Can you see it?
No, not now. Now we have it in picture.
Jetzt können wir es sehen. Jetzt haben wir es im Bild.
Indeed, the alleged troublemaker has taken his leave.
The zinc anode, which we actually suspected to be the cause, is no longer there. Now the question is, why does it still rattle? He's now removing the nut and the washer.
But it couldn't have been them anyway.
Now the question is, what else is clacking?
Good question. I'll look again.
It can only be a strut. And then check it later again. All the zinc anodes and touch all struts on the cage.
Einmal vom Käfig, alle Streben einmal anfassen, gucken, ob da irgendwas lose ist.
The other anodes are welded. I really don't have much room in here, dude.
You jumped the queue.
This is all tight. I can't find anything here that could be loose in any way. At the basket, certainly not.
Somehow he doesn't find anything.
Hast du noch eine Idee?
No, I don't know. I can't find anything else that could be loose here.
Nope, we all shake our heads. Then we build back.
Ja, definitiv.
I'm sorry about that.
Kannst du ja nichts für.
It's not your fault. Get yourself sorted out and then come back.
Yeah, well,
Let's go.
An unsatisfactory conclusion, but it is what it is.
We haven't found anything. The anode we expected to cause the problem wasn't even there anymore. Everything down there seems tight. Nothing's shaking or vibrating. The diver tried all he could. The client was standing next to us and also had no idea. So the diver comes out now. It will probably remain a mystery for now. Come, doggy, come.
Fortunately, the rattling is not a safety-related problem, but just an annoying one.
we'll continue like this for now, and then we'll have to see. We either go out again this winter, if the shipyard has capacity for us again, otherwise we'll live with it until fall next year. Then we'll have to see.
Helmet comes off.
The customer understands, but diver Andre's disappointment is clear to see.
All for nothing. Now they are no smarter than before. It's not the anode because it's no longer there. Fine, we're done.
Ja, okay, gut. Erledigt.
Clean up and drink beer, that's what we do.
So machen wir das.
And right they are. Cheers, you Baltic Sea divers. Enjoy your evening.